Shema Yisrael, Shema Yisrael, Yahweh Eloheinu, Yahweh Echad. Baruch Shem Kavod Malachuto Leolam Va'ed. Blessed is Yahweh Elohim, King of the universe. O hear Israel, Yahweh Elohim, Yahweh is one. Blessed be his name and his glorious kingdom, forever and ever. Amen. Shabbat Shalom to everybody, and welcome again to First Yahudin Messianic Temple. I am a servant, Maria Simpson, and thank you for allowing us to be in your homes, in your cells, in your computers, wherever it is that you're listening to us, whether it's Facebook or YouTube. This is the day that he has given us, and we will rejoice and be glad in it. Why do we have to be glad in it? Because no matter what we're going in our lives, no matter what's happening, whether it's good or bad, anxiety, peace, whatever it is, I can tell you that from my faith and what has worked for me is that he is in control of everything that we're doing, everything that's going on all over. And one of the things that at least I have learned in my life, is that to trust him more than ever. Why is that? Because when we're going through hard times in life, in my case, my mom just died 2 weeks ago. And then, we have personal issues, and so on. Sometimes we don't know what to do, and what happens is we begin to complain a lot. We complain in the morning, at night time, we just complain. And really the message today is about complaining. Complaining is lethal. It's okay, you can complain about something, but when we make it a habit, we will find out in a little bit what happens to our lives. The things that we need more today than any other time in our lives is really for our souls to be at rest. Because in times of history, right now is when our souls, more than ever before, needs to be at rest, because we live in a very fast society. Wherever part of the world you are in, we live in a very fast society. And really, we must take time to slow down and really smell the roses, smell the cappuccino, smell the Ruach HaKodesh, smell what's being the essence of life. It doesn't matter what we are doing, what we are doing. It's easier, the Bible says not to worry. I am your Elohim and I will save you, but it's easier said than done, because I have been where you have been. And really, I have learned through my own experiences that worry and complaining really, literally brings sickness and disease. And sometimes it goes as far as it could kill you. What are we doing? Do not worry about anything, but in everything through prayer and supplication, with thanksgiving, let your requests be known to Elohim, or God. Because the peace of Elohim, of God, which surpasses all understanding, will keep our hearts and mind in Yeshua HaMashiach, which is Yeshua the Messiah. Now, where do we learn to complain about? Who do we learn it from? Does it come from us? Do we learn it from others? Do we learn it because we hear it all the time? Well, let me shed a little bit of light to all of you who are listening. Complaining on a daily basis is absolutely horrible for you, for your mind and physical being. Just as bad as for a relationship, which all play a role in how productive you are. Complaining takes many forms, many forms. Complaining takes many forms. We sometimes deny that we are complaining. Instead, we say that we're just being honest. We're venting. We're blowing off steam. But don't kill yourself. Whenever you insert negative feelings into a conversation without some sort of resolution, you're complaining. Every problem has a solution. And every problem has started with a root. It's not something, the problems that we see, that we complain about, sometimes it's not what we physically see. But that problem started off way somewhere. It's a root. Somebody saw a seed. And complaining about it, constantly complaining, and not doing anything about it is not going to get us anywhere. Wherever we go and whatever we are doing, we are always pushed and frustrated all the time. One thing that the Almighty El Shaddai will never, ever do. One thing that God, Elohim, El Shaddai, Yahweh will never, he will never do this. See, this is something he will never do. This is amazing, but he will never do this one thing. He will never fail. He never fails. We fail him, but he cannot fail us. Do you feel that your life is so fast that it's like, see, I used to be like that. My life was very, very, very fast. I remember one time that it was hard for me to even go to sleep because there was so much stress in my life. And of course, what we do naturally is complain. And there's okay to complain, but if I complain and I don't come to a decision what I need to do, I'm not really doing anything. It was a time that I rarely have any time to stop and yet alone rest. Well, this wasn't good in my life. It wasn't good in my life. So I really decided that I really needed to change and change my life, change the way I used to think, change everything in my life, because complaining, we think that others are listening. And most people, when you complain to them, you're talking to them, but they're thinking about something else. Am I right? And then they're there, and then we think that they're listening to us, and really they're not, because see, listening is not a skill that we're born with. We're born with hearing. Listening skills is something that we need to learn as we evolve, as we change in adulthood. It's a blessing to listen, to really pay attention to somebody. Remember when you were in high school and the teacher was talking? Out of all your teachers, when they were talking, how many of you really pay completely attention to those teachers? Because a lot of times I would listen, but I was daydreaming. I know what you're going through. How can I know what you're going through? Well, for what others tell me that they're going through, what I see, I know what you're going through. And I have 4 simple keys for that, for you, that will help you find rest for your soul. And what better day than the day of Shabbat? See, Shabbat is not any day. Because any day we worship him, but really the day of rest is when sort of like everything is just at rest. It's his day. It's the 7th day. It's completeness. It's the day that he, the Most High, rests And whoever rests on that day, his rest, his peace will come upon you. In Matthew chapter 11, verse 16 through 19. Now this is Yeshua. This is the book of Matthew is one of the disciples of Yeshua. Okay? Matthew chapter 11, verse number 16. And it is written, but whereunto you shall liken. Okay, so where can I compare you to this generation? It is like children sitting on the markets and calling unto their fellows and saying, we have piped into you, and you have not danced. We have mourned unto you, but you have not lamented, which means you have not cried. For John came neither eating nor drinking, and they say that he had a devil. The Son of Man came eating and drinking, and they say, behold, a man, a gluttonous, and a wine bibber, and a friend of the publicans and sinner, but wisdom is justified by her children. And then verse 25, and the time of Yeshua answered and said, I thank thee, O Father, Master of heaven and earth, because you have hid these things from the wise and the prudent, and has revealed them unto the babes. Even so, Father, for so it seemed good in thy sight. All things are delivered unto me by my Father, and no man knoweth the Son from the Father, neither knoweth any man the Father save the Son, and he whomsoever the Son will reveal. Come unto me, all you that labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for I am meek and lowly, which means humble in heart, and you shall find rest for your souls. For my yoke is easy and my burden is light. If I were to ask everybody that's here and everybody that's watching me right now, how many of you really need rest for your soul? Let me see your hands. How many of you would like to be in that rest?
Amen.
Okay. I am going to teach you what I have learned from the scriptures, and I am going to teach you what I have learned from my own experience, how to stop complaining so your soul can be at rest. When we complain constantly, what happens is our productivity, in other words, ourselves to evolve and to be better and to go after our goals will stop. If everyone complains from time to time, how is it so bad for productivity? In other words, for what we're doing. How is that bad? Well, let me tell you how dangerous complaining is when we do it constantly. The first place that when we constantly complain that is going to affect is our brain. There is well-known but some urged controversial Stanford study that found complaining or even being complained to for more than 30 minutes can physically damage the neurons in the brains. Now, what neurons are these? These are neurons. I am not a scientist, but I have done my research. These neurons is called in the hippocampus, okay? Now, this is the part of the brain that is responsible for problem solving and connective functions. Simply put, complaining does not just hinder regular mental functioning, it begets even more complaining. Once you start complaining, you cannot stop. Eventually, it becomes a habit inside of you. And what you're doing, you are destroying yourself. Complaining also affects your physical state. When you complain, you trigger the stress hormone cortisol. This important hormone helps control blood sugar levels, reduces inflammation, regulates your metabolism, and help with memory formation. In other words, you hamper your body's function and further dismiss your ability to process information. What it means is when you constantly are complaining, you really damage the neurons in your brain, and what happens is you do not allow information to process in your mind. When cortisol levels are high, you become stress reactive. As Darcia Naravis, PH, explained, Psychology Today, this stress response makes you stupid. It literally makes you stupid. And stupid means you become ignorant. Ignorant means that you don't know the answer to what's happening in your life. Wow. You get stuck somewhere in your mind.
It freezes up.
It freezes up, yes. Okay? You become stupid, or we become stupid, because it moves blood flow away from your neocortex and into your muscles, anticipating action. Furthermore, it is also makes you egocentric. What does that mean? What is egocentric? You become selfish. Okay?
Oops.
You become selfish, egocentric, and what happens? Your instincts wants to take over. And what happens is your love energy, your empathy, and your compassion begins to go lower. Increased cortisol can weaken your immune system while increasing your blood pressure. It increases your cholesterol. It increases the risk of diseases and weight gain.
That brings diabetes too.
Diabetes too. Yes, your sugar level goes high.
Oh.
No wonder Psychpedia Arthur Stephen Parton stated that complaining can literally be killing you. Do you all agree with me?
Yeah.
So when do we come to our enough and say, I am not going to complain anymore. I am not going to allow this person to complain to me anymore. Well, I'm gonna tell you a little story. When I had my salon, my last salon in Chicago, there was a lady. I don't know if you know anybody that's constantly complaining. Constantly complaining. I mean, I had a client, and she was sort of like a friend too, and she was constantly complaining. She complained in the morning, at nighttime. She even complained when she slept. And one day, you know how you have those one days? You know, you have one of those one days that you're very tired. You're so tired. You've been working so hard. You're overworked and you're underpaid, sort of speaking. Well, it was a beautiful day outside. This is in my salon. But I was so stressed out. I mean, because that was a big responsibility. And every time I would see this woman coming, like really coming towards me, my hairs would stand up. This is a woman that complained every time she would see me. And I said, oh, well, you know, like one time she was complaining and I said, oh, Maria, I started crying and screaming last night because, complaining. And I said, well, that means you got good lungs. So anyway, she comes in and she starts talking to me and she goes, Maria, you know what? I'm serious. I said something to her that I maybe, como esta señora, maybe I should never have said, but she goes to me, Maria, I have so bad that I wanted to kill myself. And I said inside of me, please, not today. This is not your day. This is not today. And I really tried to change the conversation, but she kept, Maria, I really wanted to kill myself. And I said, Gretchen, this is a very heavy street in front of me. If you really want to kill yourself, why don't you go and throw yourself in front of a car? I'm not kidding. I should never have said this. Her eyes opened this wide. She never complained ever again. I'm not saying you should say this to people, please. I'm not saying this, okay? But you know what? There comes a time in your life that when you got these people that the only thing they do is complain. They complain because maybe, excuse me for saying this, but maybe because they blow gas all day long, or maybe because they're constipated, or maybe because, I don't know, they just complain.
Their brain is frozen.
And they love to complain. When I started doing this, I started doing to other people that were constantly complainers in my life. Because you want to have good ears for these people, but they don't care. They just want to load whatever they have. Yes, they just go blah 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 blah. Just like the Peanuts. Remember Charlie Brown and Peanuts? The teacher blah 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 blah. Well, let me tell you this. I started doing this in my life, and I started getting rid of people that constantly complainers. As a matter of fact, I knew this one friend of mine that she was a complainer, and what happened to her? It came to a point because now I'm getting ready to get rid of all my complaining people that are around me. And I said to her, I have listened to you one time. I have listened to you 2 times and you haven't done anything. And the 3rd time, it's a strike. Get out of my life, because you know what? You don't want to change your life. And complainers do not want to change their life. They just want you to feel sympathy for them because it's a boo-hoo kind of mentality. Boo-hoo, poor me. Well, you know what? If all of us will sit together and we will talk about everything that has happened in our lives, because everybody has a story to tell, I can assure you we will be saying boo-hoo, boo-hoo, poor you. There's some in the refrigerator.
Everybody got skeletons in their closet.
Everybody has skeletons in their closets. Yes. And they shake and they rattle and they roll and all that stuff.
Everybody's got issues. Get over yourself.
She just said everybody's got issues. Get over yourself. The issues of life is not to complain. The issues of life is to learn to make you better. Amen. Not to make you worse. Because reality is nobody gives a damn about your problems. Who gives a flying hoot about our problems? Because if you become a complainer, what most people do is they run away from you. Yes or no?
Yes. Who wants to hear?
And the only one that really cares about your problem is yourself and the Creator. Here is the problem that impacts us all. When life becomes overcharged, we need to rest. We need to sleep. People are not even sleeping today. Not only do we need rest and sleep for our bodies, but we need to rest for our souls. Our souls. We are not what we see. We think when we look in a mirror, the person that we see that's who we are. We are not what we see. I'm going to tell you who we are. Look in the mirror and look straight in your eyes, and you will see who you are.
You get scared. You run.
Because the eyes are the windows of the souls. We look at our hair, and then we look how many wrinkles we have, and then we look at our age. Do you know what age is? Age doesn't mean that you're getting old. Age means that you're getting ripe. You're maturing. You're evolving. Oh my goodness. I'm 60 years old. I'm dying. I can't believe it. No. Look at my gray hair. Look at my gray hairs. Every problem that I have, and I have earned, and let me tell you, every gray hairs that I have earned them.
It was stripes.
It was what?
With stripes.
With stripes.
With stripes.
Look yourself in the mirror and don't look at your body. Look in your eyes. And you will really see who you are. It's scary. Penetrate in your eyes. And it's scary because this is who you are. That is a glass that is really shining on your soul.
And then if you lost your hair and you're bald-headed, you're a general without even knowing it.
That if you lose your hair, my husband says,
And you're
and you look in the mirror and you're bald-headed, it says general, and
You are a general without even knowing it.
you're a general without even knowing. You're absolutely right.
Sexiest man
Now,
on earth.
why is it important to have rest for your soul? The answer to that question, we must first define what I mean when I talk about the soul. We need to define what is the soul. See, our soul is not our body. We focus too much on our body. Our soul, look at this, is the thoughts of the mind, and the thoughts that we create, that brings here. And what is the thought? Let me say it in a way. It's the mind, the will, and the emotions. Okay, so what is the thoughts? The thoughts, when we think, this is the language of the mind. The will, our emotions is the language of our heart. So what is the will? The will is who we are as a being. And the soul is the one that creates our actions. We are the painter of our life. We have a canvas. We are the painter. We are a Rembrandt. We paint what we want. We create what we want. But what happens when we're constantly complaining, we're shutting down. And what happens, our ego takes over. And guess what? There's no feelings. You're angry. And you know what? Instead of evolving, you get stuck.
You're painting with crayons.
You're playing with what?
You're painting with crayons.
That's a good one. You're painting
not with oil paint.
You're painting with crayons instead of oil paint.
Crayola.
You're absolutely right.
Crayola.
You're painting with Crayola.
Instead of Crayola, Crayola.
Okay.
Oh my God.
What happens? Your soul
Wow.
is your mind and your emotion, and these two are very crucial parts of your life.
Unbelievable.
And what happens to us, because our body or our flesh, the physical man of us, because we live in two worlds, what happens is constantly in war with our spiritual man.
Say that again, please.
Okay. We focus a lot on the body,
Yeah.
but we live in two worlds. We live inside of us, we have a physical, we live in a physical world and we live in a spiritual world. And when we complain, that is the ego, the flesh, the body that constantly is coming against the spirit. Because remember, biblically speaking, we are not from this world.
Wow. Wow.
is why we live in two worlds. We live in a physical world and we live in a spiritual world. And what dominates what? What dominates anything? Okay, what dominates our lives is what we pay attention to, we talk about most, we think about most, we complain about most. That is what's controlling our lives.
Wow.
Because the ego, and I'm not talking about a bird that flies. The ego, selfish man inside of us wants to control the spirit.
The flesh. Wow. Wow.
And what better way to complain about constantly about life, about God, about your family, about problems in your life, about why your husband didn't have sex with you, and why this and why that. Huh?
I love to complain about my family.
I'm going to say he loves to complain about his family.
Woo! Hallelujah.
If you need to complain about something, you want me to give you an advice?
Wow, start complaining about
Complain
yourself.
about your flaws.
Yeah.
Because you have a lot of them. And so do I.
Amen.
Complain about your flaws. And when you're done in 10 minutes, I need to change.
Amen.
You cannot be who you are without them. What is them? Your mind and your will. And when these are shut down, what takes over is your ego, it's your selfish desire. And you cannot be healthy unless your mind, your will, and your emotions are healthy. And how do you do this? Is you rest. Stop complaining. Where is it gotten you? Where is it going to take you? Exactly where I used to be. Nowhere. Nowhere. And let me tell you where the Most High wants your soul. He wants your soul to be healthy. If your soul is not healthy, your body cannot be healthy. Your mind cannot be healthy. Your heart cannot be healthy. Because your soul is who you are. The Apostle Paul wrote in John 3 John, let's go there. Chapter 1, verse 2. This is in 3 John, not John. This is 3 John, okay? 3 John, chapter 1, verse number 2.
Amen. 3 John, verse, chapter what?
Beloved, I'm sorry, 3 John. I'm in 1 John. What's the matter with me? Okay. 3 John, chapter 1, verse 2. Beloved, I wish above all things that you may prosper and be in good health, even as your soul prosper.
Amen.
You want prosperity?
Yep.
You want abundance?
Yes.
You want love?
Yes.
You want a better relationship?
Yes.
Want peace?
You want peace, love, joy, happiness?
Yes.
Stop thinking about your body and think more about your soul.
Wow.
Let me read that again. Beloved, I wish above all things that you may prosper. Prosper. Prosper can mean anything. Okay, it means that you're going to advance. You're going to evolve. You're going to grow. Just like a plant. You're sowing a plant. That you prosper and be in good and be in health, even as your soul prosper. My people perish for lack of knowledge. Knowledge is power. Words are power. And when you understand who you are and who's your maker and why you're here and why are this and in relations, everything, and you will stop complaining and you will live a very rich life full of happiness. And stop complaining and stop blaming others. Stop blaming others because of your wrongdoings. Stop blaming others the reason you live the way you live. Really? Really? That's unacceptable.
Amen.
That's unacceptable here and in heaven.
Wow.
Beloved, I pray that you prosper in all things, have health, just as your soul prosper. How does a soul prosper? The prosperity of your soul is linked to the prosperity of your body. And the prosperity of your mind and of your heart, it determines how you interact and how you say, I'm going to stop complaining. If you complain more than 30 minutes, then you got issues. You got issues. Because I had issues too.
In the membrane.
And you have to recognize who you are. When you're wrong, you're wrong. And when you're right, you're right. It takes a really big person to admit when they're wrong. Yes or no?
Yes.
I'm not here to pat your back, and I'm here to tell you my experience, and this is the way I do it because this is my character. I know I probably sound like a drill sergeant, and that's okay. You know why? Because many things that I had to overcome, I needed to be strong, and he gave me that strength. And you know what? When you begin to love yourself, and when you begin to understand who you are, and when you begin to really examine your soul, I'm going to tell you that what you're going to get is strength, power, anointing. The truth will make you free from what? From being enslaved, from being a slave of other people. We need a Sabbath rest for our souls. Don't you agree with me?
Yes. Yes.
Please go with me to the book of Hebrews, chapter 9, verse 11. Now, for some of you who don't understand, because maybe you don't understand what I'm doing, reading, a lot of the scriptures and so on. Well, this is the reason I'm doing. I'm going to explain to you.
9:11?
Yes.
Yes, chapter 4.
Oh, chapter 4.
Chapter 4. Now, look at this. Chapter 4, verse 9 through 11. Now, the reason I read this is because for me, I believe in the scriptures. I don't believe in man. I do not believe in religion. I really don't, because it hasn't got me anywhere. But I do believe in the scriptures, because he has given me a Ruach HaKodesh, the Holy Spirit. And let me tell you, it says that faith comes by hearing.
Amen.
And hearing the word of the Most High.
The Aleph Tav.
The Aleph Tav, the Torah, the word. In the beginning was the word. And the word was with Elohim, with God. And the word was Elohim, was God. There's power. There's power inside of you.
Amen.
You need to wake up that giant that has been sleeping for a long time.
Unleash it.
You have that power. You have that giant within you. And let me tell you who this giant is. It is a genie waiting for you to say, it's waiting for you to say, your wish is my command.
Abracadabra.
What do you wish? What do you wish? And no one can make you feel inferior without your consent. Eleanor Roosevelt.
That's right.
Wow.
Stop feeling sorry for yourself. We need a sabbatical rest for our soul. The day of his rest is for our soul. It's not for our body. It's not a day that we go shopping. It's the day that we rest in his presence. Look what it says in Hebrews chapter 4, verse 9 through 11. Therefore remaineth a rest to the people of Elohim, For he that is entered into his rest, he also has ceased from his own works, his Elohim did from his. Let us labor therefore to enter into that rest, lest any man fall after the same example of unbelief. Now, what is that rest? For what is that rest? It's for your soul. It's for our souls. Yeshua said, the peace that I will give you, the world cannot give to you, because the world is in chaos. And the peace that I will give you will surpass all understanding.
Amen.
According to what we read in the book of Hebrews, we need to desire that rest more than ever. Don't you all agree?
Amen. Amen. Yeah. Amen.
And the funny thing about it, when we are disobedient because we don't want to follow him, because God doesn't exist, or I'm not talking about a church. Because let me tell you, the church is not a building. The church is your body. It is your body. Okay? It's not a church. It's not four walls that says, "Oh, what a beautiful church. It is so nice. This is beautiful." I like my church. It's a nice church. Well, let me tell you something. Elohim, God is not in a church built by man's hands.
It's not confined by the walls in the building.
It's not confined by the walls. Because you are the temple of the Ruach HaKodesh, of the Holy Spirit.
Wow. Wow.
Who's receiving this?
Amen.
Amen.
Wow.
We need a rest for our souls more than ever before.
That's right.
Let me tell you why. The enemy, because there is an enemy that we don't see, we don't smell, we don't hear him, but he is around, and he's going to and from the earth, seeking whom he may devour.
That's that right.
Well, Maria, I don't know about that. Well, that's my faith. I believe that. You know why? Because when Hasatan came in the presence of Elohim on his day, on his day of rest,
Wow.
God, Elohim, said to Hasatan, "Have you considered my servant Job? Have you considered him? How he, how he serves me?" He goes, "Yeah, is he serving you for nothing? You got a hedge of protection of angels around him." "Oh, really? Take away the hedge of protection and see what he will do to you." What happened? Look at what he did. He says, "I give you the authority to do and to tempt him and to do this and this, but don't touch him." Now, why did Elohim, the creator, said this to an enemy? There also was an angel, his son. See, so Satan was his son, because he calls all his angels sons. What does he call you? Son? Daughter, correct? So what are you? You're an angel. And you're not an angel second class. You're an angel, because he chose you. Why did he ask this?
We're family.
Wow.
Okay, you let's say second. Okay, keep that question. That's a good question, because I'm going to answer that. Let me tell you this. Why did God, Elohim, ask the enemy? He says the sons of Elohim came in his day, including Hasatan. Because Elohim was telling the enemy, his son that was very rebellious, his son that wanted to be and sit on his throne.
Wow.
He says, what you didn't do in heaven, my son Job is doing on earth.
Wow.
What do you think of that? Mufasa? Huh?
Oh, Fasa. Oh, wow.
He's the accuser of the brethren. And how does he tempt us? What does he? He uses people. He uses circumstances. He uses money. He uses debt. He uses bad relationship. This is why the word is very powerful. And when it's inside of you, because you are the temple of the Ruach HaKodesh, it is not a temple that you go. Because he does not manifest himself in places that has been constructed by the man's hand, because we are sinners. We are imperfect. Who created us? He created us inside of our mother's womb. It was not done by man's hands. Man's hands destroy. Man's hands worship. We need a Sabbath for our souls. Why? The word rest, Shabbat, really means leaning on something or someone to get support. When we are complaining, when we are not at rest, what we need is support from somebody or someone. Yes or no?
Yes.
Why do you think we go to sleep? Where do we sleep? In a bed. What does the bed do? Supports us. It supports us. And it cannot be just any bed. It has to be the right bed. And none of us sleep in the same mattresses or kind of mattresses. Yes or no?
Yeah. They're not the same.
Because we need rest. We need rest when we sleep. We need rest when we eat. So how do we get rest when we eat? The chair. The chair support us. The chair support us when we're tired. Yes or no?
Yes.
And what kind of another rest that we need? We need his rest. We need his rest. What does rest do? It charges our batteries. Computers does not give us rest. And sometimes when we need to rest, constantly turning it on. For what? How many computer is there in heaven? Do they communicate?
The lights from these and the computers
Yes.
actually affect us trying to fall
Yes.
asleep.
Computer steals your rest.
You're right. The sister and the brother say that the computer light really it damages your cell brains.
You know,
I'm not saying we should use it because right now we're using this.
No,
it's
they
radiation.
said they
Yes.
tell you, looking at it before bed affects you. The lighting from it affects your sleeping.
Yeah.
Going to bed before going to bed and looking at the lights of the cell, what happens is it damages your eyes. Well, it not only damages your eyes, it not only damages your eyes when you go to sleep, it takes your sleep away.
I'm gonna be radioactive.
I believe that.
It takes your sleep away.
Yes, it affects you falling asleep.
Now, when we need three kinds. We use bed, we use the chair, we use the sofa for resting. But the most that really makes the most is when we need his rest for our souls.
And then we think that the zombies are coming. The zombies are coming.
He says the zombies are coming.
The zombies are here.
The zombies are here.
The
Yes.
zombies are
Yes.
already here.
They're here. They live in our houses.
The zombies are the zombies. Yes, master. What's going on, master? Okay, sure. Yeah.
It's in our house.
And you know what? Honestly and truly, and then what happens when we rest, our batteries get charged, and really what happens is it's a rest for our minds, our spirit, and our souls. Of what? Why? Of what? We need rest because we need rest from the quick life that we live. Is when We need, since we live in this life that is very fast, we need to connect, completely connect, and be at rest with shalom, with peace. Yeshua said, I leave peace with you, my perfect peace I give to you, not as the world gives it to you, I give you. Do not let your heart be troubled, and let it not be afraid. Because the peace that he has is the peace that is going to give us tranquility to every circumstances, and give us the courage and strength so we can confront every challenge. He says, in me, I have told you these things, that in me you will have perfect peace and confidence. In the world you will have tribulations. You will have trials, anguish, and frustration. Don't you? I mean, I got tired of that. I didn't want no more of that in my life.
No more what? Frustration.
Tribulation, trials, anguish, and frustration. Doesn't mean I don't have them, but I look at them. I come against them. I look at them in a different way. I do not allow those things to enter my heart. I do not do that. Not anymore. I used to. And it used to really damage me so much. I didn't understand how bad that was for me. Be a good spirit, take courage, be confident. Do not give yourself to fear. Take courage. Yeshua said, I have overcome the world. I have deprived him. Who is him? The prince of power of the air. I have deprived him of power to hurt you and to conquer, and for you to conquer him. What a statement. Who has told you this lately? Who has told you this lately?
Yeah.
Because most of the time we're going through really hard time, the people that complain don't really want to talk to you. Where are they? We are upset if the shipment is not going to arrive for a long time. We are disturbed if we have to wait on the line in the supermarket. We get really tinkle if somebody is driving and they pull in front of us. How is that? Have you ever thought about seeing these lines when you're in the supermarket from a different mentality? Instead of being frustrated, use the moment to relax and get out of the fast life into which you are trapped. It's really saying slow down. The importance of taking some time to relax, it takes away your stress. You begin to trust, you begin to evaluate, you begin to celebrate. Relaxing is when you allow yourself to spend time reviewing how well things are going for you instead of how bad. Do you need adjustment? Is any part of your body out of balance? Are you doing what needs to be done? Should you delegate things? The answers are easier find while you are relaxed. Haven't you noticed that when you sleep, you go to sleep very kind of like, woo, and when you wake up, you get the answer to what you wanted? Haven't that ever happened to you? Because you relax. Take a break, rejuvenate your spirit in a small way through relaxing breaks from routine. We are forgetting to relax, to slow down. Where are we going with this fast pace? Where are we going? Have you ever seen traffic at 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon in a big city? Where are they going so fast?
They're so slow.
No. It's going slow, but in reality, you begin to get angry. You get frustrated. You begin to say bad words. You begin to curse people that the other cars. And the slower it gets, the more frustration you get. It's telling you, slow down. Slow down. Complaining is not a fruit of the Spirit. And if you are damaged, look, listen to this. And if you are damaging peace, joy, and patience, the rest that is supposed to come from the Holy Spirit, the Ruach HaKodesh, will dwell in you. Constantly complaining is destructive and debilitating for your body, for your mind. What needs rest in our lives is our soul, is our spirit. However, it is easy to forget. If I will ask you right now, what do you take care of more, your body or your soul? What do you take care of more, your body or your soul?
Take care more of your body.
I can tell you that most of us will answer, I will say 80% or 90% of us will say our body. And your soul is saying, help me, please. Help me. I need somebody. Help me. Not just anybody. Help me. Slow down. Why? We think more about the natural instead of the spiritual. We spend a lot of time and money in the modern world working to achieve healthy bodies. And we must do this. If we do not have health, we cannot live in the way that Abba Kadosh, the Most High, wants us to live, happy and prosperous. However, it seems that we spend very little time and money working to have healthy soul. That is not the same as saying that we did not spend time having fun. We have lots of fun. But how much of what we call fun really contributes to the health of our mind, the will, and emotions? And where do we get all this complaining about? Where do you think we get it from? Adam. Adam complained. He was the first man that complained. And he said to the Most High, the woman you gave me, she's the one that made me sin.
She messed me up.
The woman said the serpent did it. Because she blamed the snake in the grass. And Cain complained. And my brother's keeper. Moses complained of the burning bush. What do you mean I'm going to go into Egypt? If we complain about our circumstances, that will be a sign how the nature of our heart is. James chapter 4 verse 1. How are you all feeling today?
Great.
How are you all feeling after hearing this message?
Better.
In the book of James, chapter number 4, verse number 1, it is written, "From whence come wars and fighting among you? Come they not hence, even of the lust that is war on the members? You lust and you have not. You killed and desire to have, and cannot obtain. You fight and war, yet you have not, because you ask not. You ask and receive not, because you ask amiss, that you may consume it upon your lusts. You adulterous, you adulteress. Know you not that the friendship of the world is an enmity with Elohim? Whosoever therefore be a friend of the world is an enemy of Elohim." There is a difference in filing our complaint with Yahweh and complaining about accusation against Him. Follow the Torah, follow the word. Those in the desert who complain and blame Elohim, found with Yahweh's wrath, Miriam, Kohath, and Datan. If we must complain, we must be willing, we must be to Yahweh about our own sinful life. See, most people don't want to hear the word sin. Oh, I'm not a sinner. I just make mistakes.
I'm a mistaker.
That's exactly what Satan said.
I'm a mistake.
I'm not a sinner. I just make mistakes. Mistakes are done when you're writing and you make a mistake, and then you can erase it, and then you do it again, or you put the the white out. The word sin is not like a lot of people are saying what sin is. What sin is when we don't obey our Creator. That's it. Has nothing to do with religion. Has nothing to do with legalism. Has to do with Him. This is why a lot of people don't understand Him, because they confuse the church and the people, and this is the church and this is the people and this and that, and I don't feel the love and I don't feel this. You know what? We can complain about anything, but what about your life? Yes, and this is the people and all that stuff. You know what? Let me tell you, for me, I don't know for none of you, but what has worked again and again and again and again is the faith that He has given me. Because greater is He that is in me than he that is in the world. And yes, we are energy, and and love is energy, and His word is energy, and you know, it's awesome, it's tremendous. But I'm going to tell you what has worked for me is His presence that overcomes every obstacle in my life, including my flaws, including my wrongdoings. Because I am weak, and when I am weak, He is strong, and He comes and gives me the strength that I need to overcome things in my life that I don't understand anything that is happening. Because that's why He is my Father. He is my Father. He's got more experience than I do. And everything that He wants for me is good. Because everything that comes from Him is good. This is why I speak like this. You know why? Because He has always been in my life and has always taken me to the other side of the mountain. I worship Him like never before. I speak about Him because He lives in me, above me, around me, behind me, and the whole army of heaven is with me. And if they are with me, who can be against me? Who can be against me? Not even death. Because the day I die, I go with Him. And let me tell you, it is a very powerful thing when He gives you the spirit of faith to overcome negativity, to overcome stupid people, critical people, foolish people, liars, narcissists, complainers, haters. And when you do this, it doesn't mean that you're better than them. It's just that now His power begins to work inside of you, and you will understand Him better. You will understand you're better. You will love others better like never before. We are in the midst of this world with two trees. The tree of knowledge of good and evil, and the tree of life.
Amen.
See, a lot of people go to games. Go to games. They go to games. They go to football games. They go to baseball games. I went once, by the way. I just wanted to share. And you should have seen me eating hot dogs. Oh, go team, go! This is awesome. The Cubs.
White Sox.
The White Sox. I'm sorry, the White Sox. They were losing. I didn't care. I just wanted to shout. I wanted to know what it felt like. I shout about my Creator. I shout about my God. I shout about Yahweh Sabaoth because He is the greatest phenomenal. He is the greatest power.
Yeah, I am.
He is the great I am. He is who He says He is. Hallelujah. And He says, if you're not embarrassed of me when you talk to others, and I will not be embarrassed of you to talk in front of my Father in heaven.
Your mother and father will reject you.
Hallelujah.
But I'll never leave you.
My mother and father have rejected me even before I was born. But He says, I will never reject you. Because you have a purpose here on this earth. And you will do my purpose. What He has started with you, He will finish with you.
Amen. Amen.
Who's with me?
Hallelujah.
The love that he has, the mercy that he has, no human being has.
Amen. It's true.
Because how can we say that we love him, but then we start criticizing and we start condemning people that are made in his image?
Wow.
Then we think we're holy patrols. Holy patrol what? Sometimes you even yes, and you got the yellows. Really? Come on. For Elohim alone. Now this is going to take me a little bit, maybe 10 more minutes. For you, because somebody said to me the other day, "Oh Maria, you say these and it takes you an hour. That's too much for me." And you should hear what she's saying. You should see her, the way this woman lives her life. Then you know what? Then you don't have to be here. That's just the way you know what? I don't got time for that. I really don't. That sounds very cruel, and I don't care. I don't care. Listen very carefully. David said, and this is in the book of Psalms, chapter 62, 1 through 4. For Elohim alone, my soul waits in silence. From him comes my salvation. He alone is my rock and my salvation, my defense and my strong tower. I will not be shaken or disheartened. How long will you attack a man so that you may murder him, all of you? Like a leaning wall, like a tottering fence, they consult only to throw him down from his high position. Who is this? To dishonor him. They delight lie. They love lies. They bless with the words of their mouth, but inwardly they curse. Do you know anybody like this?
Lots of people.
How can we continue in this fast-paced world? Let me tell you how. Here are 4 simple keys to find rest for your soul. Number 1. You need to seek tranquility. Peace. Do less. You must be present. Our souls need to experience silence at times. We need to move away from quiet to a quiet and peaceful place. And where can we do this? If it's not in your home, most of the time it's in nature. In a beach, in a mountain, and a stream of water.
If you cannot take these messages, he's not with you.
My husband said,
you don't have to repeat it because they can live here.
Okay, go ahead.
If you cannot take these messages, I guarantee you 100% that he's not with you. Because if he was sitting there talking more than 2 and 3 hours, you're going to tell him, listen, you talk too much, I got to go. You know what? It's very simple. You're just an idiot. That's all you are.
Oh,
That's all you are. You are an idiot.
no.
And there's nothing in your brain. It's congested with a lot of, what do you call it?
Garbage.
No, what do you
Toxic.
call it? Toxin. That's
Yeah.
what it is. He's not with you. You're going to tell him, hey, listen, stop talking because you talk too much.
Yeah.
Really? Really? Uh-huh. Yes. Uh-huh. Really? Yeah. Sure.
Number 1, we need to go to nature, a beach, a mountain, a stream. Being in a quiet place allows peace to penetrate our pores without any effort on our part. Tranquility allows us to rest, be free from external stimuli. Instead of being accustomed or used to the hustle and the bustle that usually leads our lives, we need to find a quiet place to which we can retire. In quiet places where there is little or no knowledge of the time or noise, our soul will find peace. 2, literally, we need to return to nature, disconnect and appreciate nature. Humanity, look at this, humanity was formed from the dust of the earth. Elohim himself took dust from the ground and sculpted. In other words, he took it and started molding it. He molded the first man. Then he blew in him life. When that happened, that being, that man of the earth, got up and started walking, and he became a living soul. We are much more than dirt. We are much more than clay sculptures. Elohim has adopted us and made us in his beloved sons and daughters. We were divinely imagined, divinely created, divinely formed, and divinely called. However, to this day, there is something in man that needs the earth. Do you all agree with me? We are united to the earth because we have in our body, in our skin, we have elements of the earth. From the dust we came, and from the dust we will return. Due to our unique connection to the earth, humans can find rest in nature that no other place can provide. This is why when most people go on vacation, they go to nature. Therefore, we need to return to nature more. Even if the nature is a city park, we have to find a place we can walk on the ground, walk through the forest, lie on the grass, and sit by the stream. Nature is the original book of Yahweh, his original statement to himself or man. And I'm going to read this to you. Romans 1:20. Because since the creation of the world, its invisible attributes are clearly seen, being understood by the things that are done, even their eternal power and divinity, so they have no excuse. When we return to nature, we find rest. 3. Oh, I'm lonely. No. There's times that we need to be lonely. There's times that we need to disconnect. Too often we try to hide our wounds after engaging with other people. When we engage with other people, we don't express our wounds. Either we do not want to face Elohim, God, or it hurts so much that we are afraid of his work in our hearts. Therefore, we hide behind the supposed need to serve, so we begin to serve, care, and just be around other people when we refuse to embrace solitude. Even occasionally, when we flee, run away from God, Elohim. A lot of healing can be found when we are alone with him. Even walking in the quiet mornings, an hour of prayer in the midnight, or an afternoon alone in the park will bring lots of health. Most of the time, we are connecting more to the electronics than we are to the divine source. It's no wonder our life is the way it is. Without the presence of other people to distract us, we are exposed to our Maker. We are exposed to nature, and he created nature. Because he's everywhere. Even in the smile of a child.
Yeshua got rest when he went to the Gethsemane garden and he prayed. Yeah.
Yeshua, when he was in the Garden of Gethsemane, he was being tormented, and he started praying, and then what came over him? Peace. Without the presence of other people to distract us, we are exposed to the Maker, and he has both the time and space to work in our hearts. He can heal us, save us, free us from all kinds of problems, anxiety, or the enemy. But often we need time alone with us to put us in the right position and receive help. 4, the last one. Deep and long times in the word and prayer find pleasure in anything breath. Let me tell you what also. I read the Bible, I connect to nature, but another thing that helps me a lot is really relaxing music. Relaxing music, honestly, really takes my tension away. And I mean relaxing music, I mean without words.
Is it 528?
The 528, which is the love frequency. This is what I put every single day in my house. Let me tell you, relaxing music, and I'm even going to take it a step further. The psalm music, but also meditating music helps me a lot, which is just sound. The meditating music is really awesome. It really makes me focus on what I'm doing. It takes away from the problem. I don't concentrate on that. During the day, if I'm doing something at the house, whether I'm writing or whether I'm cleaning or cooking or whatever I'm doing, I begin talking also to my Maker, and honestly and truly, and what happens is you begin to be connected to Him, and what happens, you hear Him. He reveals Himself. I wake up in the morning, and honestly, I go in prayer. I talk. That's my first thing. That's important to me, because I don't know what the day can bring, but He does. I don't know about all of you, but I know that all these things that I do, it helps me a lot. Have you ever? I mean, if you live by nature, we live in acreage. We live in a country. I am surrounded by not only trees, but we're surrounded by nature and animals. The other day, a red cardinal began to sing. I mean, he was singing, and he was looking and singing. That has never happened. And I looked at him and I said, "What is he saying?" Like he was happy. He is everywhere. Elohim, God is everywhere. But if you really slow down and just quiet down and hear what He has to say, listen to what your heart is telling you. We are not what we eat. We are what we feel and what we think. A lot of healing can be done by the Maker Himself. Every time that I worry or upset about something, I go to my Maker. For a prolonged time, I do this in prayer. And I study His Word. I put meditation music. I really do. I don't want this crazy, no. No. Without any desire, He gives me inner peace and healing. And even if I have to read a chapter or two before something starts to sink, I have learned to keep pressing. You have no idea the power in prayer. Why do you think monks are constantly praying all day long? There's power in prayer. Because prayer not only are you praying your desire, but this is a connection you have with your divine Elohim, with the divine source, with Yahweh, with who created the heavens and the earth, and is powerful. There's nothing more powerful than prayer. And I really mean prayer. I'm not talking about the prayer that you go, oh yeah, Yahweh's my shepherd, I shall not lack. Oh, huh, okay, then I'm thinking about it. Then I'm going to cook black beans and rice. Okay, that's not a prayer. You're not meditating. You're not connected.
Can you clarify? That you mean meditating on the Word, praying to Him,
okay.
Not the New Agey mods.
Okay, she wants me to explain exactly what it is meditating on the Word, because from the New Age and all this. Okay, He does not want us to read the Bible. He wants us to meditate on the Bible. Okay, what does it mean to meditate? What's the difference? Okay. Meditate on the Bible means really that you take each word that you're reading and that you swallow it digest it in your stomach, and let it go into your mind. And really, what does it mean? It really meditates. Like, for example, Yahweh is my shepherd, I shall not lack. Just that phrase. How do I meditate on that? Well, if you meditate, Yahweh is my shepherd. What is a shepherd? A shepherd is the one, it's a man or a woman that shepherds the sheep. The sheep cannot distinguish between a wolf that is in disguise and a sheep. They can't. So Yahweh is my shepherd. A shepherd, the sheep, they get hurt. They don't, the shepherd has to guide them to drink water, to eat. That's what meditation is. And when you do this, you understand that you are the sheep and he is your shepherd, and he's guiding you to green pastures. He's guiding you to living waters. Meditation in the word means you do not read. You meditate. You digest it in your mind, in your soul. Meditation in the New Age, okay, or in Buddhism, I believe that is okay. I mean, even though they do that, and what they do is they just open up and they just unwind and just let it loose. And I mean, I don't go that far. I don't believe that profoundly. But if you do, that's okay. I respect you. But I don't want my mind to be wandering somewhere, because it's gonna get lost. It's gonna get lost. And guess what? The enemy is going to and from and seeking. See, the difference is, I'm not looking for philosophies. I'm looking for my Creator. I don't worship man. I worship the true Elohim. And that's the way I believe. If you don't believe that, that's okay. I respect you. But that's what I believe. Because he has shown me again and again and again and again and again and again. And I'm telling you right now, to me, there's nothing more powerful than the word.
Amen.
To me. And if he uses other people in other countries to do whatever, that's his doing, because I'm not a judge of anybody. He used Pharaoh. So you know what? That's none of my business. And I respect them. And you know what? Even I learned certain things from them. Because even people that live on the street, I learn from them. Because you don't even know if that's an angel. To finish. Avoid complaining. Start practicing gratitude. The simple act of giving thanks has been found to reduce the symptoms of depression and anxiety while improving your mood and your energy. Praise others. Did a colleague go be a colleague and go beyond just saying thank you? Dish out compliments. Learn to compliment. Make your wife's day, husbands. And believe me, you're going to lift her spirit, and you're going to lift your spirit as well. Focus on success. This is pretty straightforward. If you believe you're going to be successful, then you'll be successful. Stop whining and start focusing on what is amazing in your life. Let it go. Don't live in the past. Get rid of your skeletons in your closets. It is done and over with. Focus on how awesome today and tomorrow can be if you put the efforts there so it can happen. Take action. If you are not satisfied with your current situation, do something about it and stop complaining. Complaint won't change a thing. And people really don't want to hear you. Because they're tired of your nonsense. And really nonsense. Because most people that complain has no common sense. Develop a solution before you start complaining. Take a break to think about what you want to accomplish and the possible solution to reach that outcome. Distress and focus on the positive. Look for ways to blow off steam and productively. like exercising, meditating, and learning is a skill that can resolve a problem. I hope this message has helped you, and thank you until next time for being in First Yahudin Messianic Temple. Shavua Tov, Israel.